The day I got scared of the dentist. A story by a 7-year-old boy.
Hi, my name is Zaid, and I'm 7 years old. This is the story of the day I got scared of the dentist. It all started last week when I was eating my favorite candy, caramel chews. I bit down hard, and suddenly, out of the blue, I felt a sharp pain in my tooth. I ran to my mom, who took one look and said, "Zaid, I think you have a cavity. We need to see the dentist." Hearing those words made me shake in my boots. I had never been to the dentist for a big treatment before, and I had only heard stories from my friends about how scary it could be. In my head, the dentist's office seemed like a lion's den, full of drills, sharp tools, and scary noises. The next morning, my mom booked an appointment with Dr. Lewis, the dentist. I was on pins and needles all day, dreading what was going to happen. As we drove to the dentist's office, I kept asking my mom if we could go home. "Zaid, you've got to face the music," she said. "The dentist is going to help, not hurt you." But no matter what she said, I couldn't stop my imagination from running wild. What if Dr. Lewis was mean? What if he pulled my tooth out without asking? I thought of all the worst-case scenarios. By the time we got to the office, I was sweating bullets. When we arrived, the waiting room looked friendly enough. There were toys, magazines, and even a big fish tank. But all I could think about was that dentist chair, waiting for me like a ticking time bomb. When the nurse called my name, my heart skipped a beat. I slowly walked into the dentist's room, and there it was, the big chair that looked like a monster ready to swallow me whole. Dr. Lewis smiled at me and said, "Hi, Zaid. Ready to take care of that tooth?" I nodded, but inside, I was as nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Dr. Lewis was really nice, but that didn't stop my hands from shaking. He asked me to open my mouth, and I froze like a deer in headlights. "Don't worry, Zaid. This won't hurt at all," he reassured me. But all I could think of were the loud drills and bright lights. I was certain something would go wrong. As Dr. Lewis looked at my tooth, I held my breath. My mind was racing, and I was sure he would say something terrifying like, "We need to pull the tooth out." But instead, he said, "Zaid, you have a small cavity. But good news, we can fix it right now, and you won't feel a thing." I didn't believe him. How could a dentist fix a tooth without causing pain? But I had no choice, I had to grin and bear it. Dr. Lewis used something called a numbing gel, and surprisingly, my mouth started to feel funny, like it was asleep. He explained that the gel would make sure I wouldn't feel anything while he worked. I crossed my fingers, hoping he was right.
Let's check some phrases. Out of the blue. Meaning, something unexpected. Example, the opportunity came out of the blue. Shake in my boots. Meaning, to be very scared. Example, I shook in my boots at the apparent presence of the snake. A lion's den. Meaning, a frightening place. Example, even though he knew he would be up against a hostile mob, he went straight into the lion's den. You've got to face the music. Meaning, you have to deal with the reality of a situation. Example, she would have to face the music if she lied to me. Sweating bullets. Meaning, extremely nervous. Example, I was sweating bullets over this interview. A ticking time bomb. Meaning, a person or situation that will probably become dangerous or harmful in the future. Example, we will be sitting on a ticking time bomb if we do nothing about the pollution issue. Skipped a beat. Meaning, feeling nervous or startled. Example, my heart skipped a beat when I realized I was going to be on live television. As nervous as a cat in a room full of rocking chairs. Meaning, very anxious or jittery. Example, during my test drive, I had a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs feeling. Froze like a deer in headlights, meaning, to be so scared that you can't move. Example, he was like a deer in headlights every time they asked him a question. Grin and bear it, meaning, to accept a difficult situation without complaining. Example, most workers faced with the risk of unemployment have to grin and bear it. On pins and needles, meaning, feeling anxious or nervous. Example, I was on pins and needles on my first day of work. Back to story. If you are here means that you are liking my stories, please subscribe my channel and press hit button so you will not miss my upcoming videos.
And you know what? I didn't feel any pain at all. The whole thing was over in a matter of minutes, and Dr. Lewis gave me a new toothbrush and some stickers. I couldn't believe it. I had made a mountain out of a molehill. The dentist wasn't scary after all. When I got home, I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I had been so scared, but in the end, it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. I told my mom, the dentist isn't scary at all. I was just making a fuss over nothing. From that day on, I promised myself I wouldn't be afraid of going to the dentist. After all, prevention is better than cure. If I take care of my teeth and visit Dr. Lewis regularly, I'll avoid bigger problems in the future. Now, whenever I think about my next appointment, I just keep my chin up and remember that the dentist is there to help me, not hurt me. And that's how I learned not to be afraid of the dentist anymore. Now, I face my fears head on and know that things aren't as scary as they seem. Moral of the story, sometimes, we get scared about things that are unfamiliar, but once we face our fears, we often realize they aren't as bad as we imagined. Being brave and open to new experiences can help us grow.
Learn some phrases. Made a mountain out of a molehill, meaning, exaggerated a small problem. Example, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. You wrote one bad essay. It doesn't mean you're going to fail. A weight had been lifted off my shoulders, meaning, feeling relief from worry. Example, a weight had been lifted off my shoulder when I heard you're feeling better. Making a fuss over nothing, meaning, worrying too much about something unimportant. Example, some people have habit of making a fuss over nothing. Prevention is better than cure, meaning, it's better to avoid problems by taking care of things early. Example, today, as in all social diseases, we approach this problem as one where prevention is better than cure. Keep my chin up, meaning, stay positive. Example, she's still keeping his chin up despite all his health problems.